What has it been hard for you to keep him sidelined? He says he's fully healthy, but
he wants to go. He's doing great in the meetings. He wants to go. He's trying to get himself into stuff, so kind of have to pull the reins on him a little bit. So I think it's great when he's in. Kind of gives everybody, for me at least, gives me a more calm feeling with some guys that know what they're doing, and his energy is back the way it used to be, and his demeanor is back the way it used to be, and the way we all want it. So, he's a competitive guy, so he wants to play, but he'll get back when he gets back. When the doctors say he can, he can.
Was that? I know he was trying to play through it, and he's a tough guy. Was it worse? Was it more detrimental to him to go through that than should he have shut it down earlier?
I'm who's to say. He's a competitive guy, but I will say this, that lessons learned.
Yeah.
And there's some hard lessons learned for him as a young man, and dealing with adverse situations and how to deal with them, the good and the bad, and how could he have been better handling some adverse situations. And so you never want to see a guy get hurt and go down, but it is what it is, and we learn and move on.
It feels like we've been using the J.K. Dobbins experience, talking about Trey for a lot of the time, and I know that it's apples to oranges in terms of how the sophomore years went, but just going from disappointing and trying to bounce back from that, what were some things you saw from J.K. at this point in 2019? Are you seeing any of that stuff from TreVeyon?
Yeah, just getting back to some of the mindset he has as a freshman, just the way he's preparing, not just his mind but his body and things like that. But Trey's that's a totally different deal. The kid was hurt, but with that being said, there's also some things he could do emotionally and mentally that'll help keep him at ease and the calmness about him. So we went through it. We are where we are, and we'll put that behind us, and here we go.
It's not like Chip is a first-time running back for you guys.
Right.
He obviously played a lot of Arizona State. But what have you seen from him this spring that maybe you didn't see in November when you guys brought him back over?
Oh, just being comfortable playing the position again. And he's a pro, how he handles his business as far as his study habits, as far as how he takes care of his body, the way he practices, his full tilt. So, we already knew that. But I think a lot of it's just kind of getting ingrained again in just the feeling of being in the backfield and running.
What were the comments? Were you guys ever surprised by just how quick he is at his size?
Oh, at first we were, but not now. We've been seeing it now. But yeah, the kid can run. He can run. He's got good top end speed, and he's 234 pounds, whatever it is. And so Chip's a competitive kid, and so, excited to have him in our room.
With Chip, what were the conversations like in January when he was trying to maybe figure out what side of the ball you could play on, whether he can stay in your room or?
There wasn't really a whole lot of conversation. It was like, what do you want to do? And he said, this is what I want to do. Are you sure? Yes, and that was the end of the conversation. So it wasn't real long.
What did that tell you? That it was just seems very certain about where he wanted to play.
Again, Chip's a grown man now. He's a pro. He's a grown man, and the way he handles his business and his approach to life, and very mature. So he brings a lot of maturity to the room, and he said, this is what I want to do, and there wasn't a lot of varying of like, this is what I want to do. And if you ask him a question, which I love about him, I'm a guy that you ask a question, I'm going to answer the question. If you don't like my answer, that's something you can deal with. But you ask me a question and get an answer, and Chip's the same way, so I love that about him.
Tony, it seems like Chip and Dallan are having good springs.
Yeah.
You obviously have Trey and Mayan. How do you just balance that in terms of finding roles for all those guys?
We'll find that out as we get closer to the fall.
What are your takeaways of Dallan and Chip from the spring?
I'm sorry?
What are your takeaways from Dallan and Chip during the spring?
Yeah, I think that Dallan has grown. He's maturing. Every single day, again, you're talking, this is still his first spring. He's never been through that. He played some in the fall, but he's still maturing. He's changing his body. He's finally learning the game, and I think he's starting to understand just how important it is to study the game. And when I say study the game, I don't mean watch highlight videos. I mean actually study the game and what's going on, and taking care of his body. Dallan's a tough kid, and you can watch him game 8, 10, 12 pounds, whatever it is. So he's been really good in the meetings as well. He's answering things very, very affirmatively, and the way he's playing, and so he's growing up as he should be, and he's maturing. And like I said earlier, Chip's a very mature player, and it's like dealing with a grown man in the room.
So maybe have a chance to be maybe the deepest room you've had in terms of guys
from top to bottom.
Yeah.
When healthy, yeah. When not healthy, well, roll the dice. But when healthy, from top to bottom, I would say it's probably the deepest room.
Does that give you ease, or does it? As you just said, when healthy, because a year ago it was kind of the same thing.
Yeah, you say it gives you ease. I don't know if you're ever at ease, truth be told. But when healthy, I like the room we got when healthy.
when you're evaluating guys, are you looking at, hey, we could use this guy in this way and this guy in this way, or are you just trying to build as much depth as possible?
Right now, I'm just trying to build depth because we want guys that are 3-down players, and everybody can do everything. Obviously, as you move through things, some guys are going to be better than others in certain things, but right now it's just really training guys to do everything that we do the best of their abilities, and enhance them wherever we can enhance them. We haven't started putting packages together, I think is a direct answer to your question. Those haven't been put together, but as we get into the summer and the fall, we'll do those.
Being so early like that,
I'm sorry?
With it being so early, do you prepare Dallan to say, like, there may not be 100 carries for you next season?
Oh, I haven't even talked about it like that. I mean, we're just preparing our guys to get better every day individually, and then obviously holistically as our offensive unit, and we'll figure all that out as we move down the road.
Seems like Dallan, we talk about guys gaining weight every offseason. It's one of our favorite things to talk about in the spring. But like,
I gained a bunch too.
I think we all have. With Dallan, it seems like that weight is translated to maybe a little bit more power.
Yeah, that's what you want. That's what you're hoping for, and I still think it can be better, and he knows that. Just his leg strength and lower body strength, and as we're running through contact and running through tackles, but it's gotten better, and it's not where it needs to be yet. But we're also not playing yet. So that'll continue to grow as he and Nick and the strength staff continue to build that.
I know that you're not trying to just hand out compliments, but
no, I do not.
For him to be able to do what he did, particularly in the Maryland game, and not be where he probably should have been with his weight, does that make it a little bit more impressive that he was able to do things like that last year?
No, I mean I expect him to do that. That's why we put him out there, you know, and he did it. He had a heck of a game for us. Looking back, but we put him out there, those expectations to be able to play, and now it's just all about enhancing him and getting him better.
Can I just ask you, just to like kind of break down those five, Dallan, Trey, Maya, and Chip, what kind of makes them different? What makes them unique as running backs?
Wow, I mean, how much time you got?
As much as you want to give me.
No, I'm not going to give you that much. But no, I'm going to ruin my mom's good name. No, they all are different. I think Trey, obviously has some issues, some deals where he can run away from people, and when he hits a crease in the seam, he can really go. So I think that's something he provides. Dallan's got, I think, really, really good vision. He can kind of feel his way and see some things. Mine's probably more powerful than all of them. The two I just spoke about. I think that Chip brings a combination of some power and speed because he's faster than mine. So they all bring. Then you have Evan, as no one's really talking about because he's been out for so long. But he's got the ability to go out and run routes and catch the ball. Trey really catches the ball well. Evan catches the ball probably better than most of the other guys. So they all have different things that they provide. But at the end of the day, the goal is to get them all prepared to play 3 downs if we need it to be. And if we want to package them, then we have the ability to do that as well. But they all bring different things, and they all three bring different personalities in the room as well, and their approach to things. But the one thing they all are is they all are very competitive guys. And that much I love that about them.
I promise this is not a carries distribution question.
So why are you asking?
It's not that. But when you do have skill sets that are that different, I know you're trying to develop all of it, but when they're that different, who you decide to throw out there and give it moments, maybe game to game, depends on what you need?
It depends on what we need, depends on game situation. All of a sudden, if we're in the game and all of a sudden we get into a tempo situation, well, then whoever's in the game at that time, that's who's playing. And so you can say, well, this guy may be better situated for this, but if we're in a tempo thing, we can't get guys off the field, and they got to go play. And that's why I think you try the best you can to see that they're 3-down players. I don't know if that's answering your question or not, but there's some things that if we're in a short yardage situation and 3rd and 1, well, maybe I don't want Evan in the game. Maybe I want Pryor or Chip in the game. So I think a lot of this is game situation and where we're at and what we're doing. And once again, it goes back to a lot of health issues as well. Who's healthy and who's available.
You said a few years back
more questions, folks.
that it's not your job to keep your players happy, it's their job to keep you happy.
No, I didn't say that. I never said they had to keep me happy. I said it's my job not to keep them. I said I'm not running a happy camp. I guarantee you I never said they got to keep me happy.
How are they doing at keeping you happy?
They're playing hard, so I'm good. But it's not about keeping me happy. This is about helping our football team be better, and it's about their development to be better. It's not about keeping me happy. Listen. We win games. You play well. I'm happy. I'm good. This isn't about me. It never has been. Never will be. And this is about preparing our players to be the best that they can be.
How are you keeping Evan and Trey patient while also wanting them to be
and keeping them engaged.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that's just in the meetings, and when they're in the meetings, engage them, and you're still asking them questions. You're still making them stand back here and watch from, get mental reps, if you will, from the back, and so that keeps them going. Like, okay, envision yourself in this moment, right? And try to get the mental reps the best that you can, so that we're not having to reteach when they come back, and they've been really good at that.
How far ahead of schedule is Trey right now?
You'd have to ask the trainers and doctors, but I remember when we first started the spring, they had talked about maybe the last week having him be able to run around and do some things. So with that being said, based on what I was told back in February, I'd like to think he's probably a couple weeks ahead of where he needs to be.
And obviously, it's a tough year for him last year in a lot of ways. He says, basically, he's got a fresh start. He's really excited. But what do you sense about him in terms of his hunger?
I think what he said is true, and I can see that. I can see that in his demeanor, how he's walking around the building now, how he approaches the meetings, how he's engaged in meetings, how he's helping the young players. Will Troy Hartson's a walk-on freshman. That him and Chip are amazing how they are. They've kind of zeroed in on him and helping him mature and get things right. But then that's the culture of the room, and so those guys are really, I think they've done a masterful job at that, and they're very unselfish, and Trey's hungry to play, but he's very unselfish, and they all understand this competitive environment you walked in. When you walk into this building, when you chose to come to The Ohio State University, you walked into a very highly competitive environment. You walked into a competitive situation where nothing's promised, and they know that. Hey man, you were out. The guys were out, so you gotta take the job. Dallan, Chip, Evan, Maya, Trent, somebody's got to take the job. It's not going to be given. Somebody's got to take it. And they all know that because it's been articulated 1,000 times over, and then they are going to echo the same thing.
Well, we've seen what Trey can do.
Yeah, we have.
I mean,
now we got to go do it, though. We've seen it. Got to go do it. Got to go do it and do it over and over and over and over and over. That's winning football.
How much stuff has Maya been able to get into this?
Maya's been going. He was out this last week, but Maya's been fine. He's been playing and doing well.
What's the area for growth for him this spring, this offseason?
Yeah, just continue to mentally know the offense, and I would say some things with him. He's a big, strong body. He's not always trying to bounce things outside and just take the vertical shots. 3 and 4 yards is okay to get sometimes versus trying to bounce and make big plays. And I think we all want to get big plays, but sometimes taking that dirty 2 or 3 yards is not a bad thing either, and just going consistent. They still got to get his big behind on the ground. He's a big old strong guy, and so when he runs sideways, they can get him because he's not the fastest guy. So when you get a chance to take the ball vertically, take it vertically. They still got to get him on the ground.
Coach, my happiness cup runneth over.
That's good, Jerry, because man, you made me do this. So.
I know it. I'm happy.